Hello everyone, welcome back with another video, and this is our third video in this series. Okay, so as you remember that in our last video we have configured the domain controller. Okay, now first thing what you have to do once you configure the domain controller is either you enable NAT routing. So that is basically if you have configured Ethernet like multiple Ethernet ports, then you can enable that particular routing so that you can separate your public network to your internal network. So that we are going to see, it is not mandatory to enable the NAT. If you want, you can use your public network which is coming from the local machine itself once installing Hyper-V. Okay, you can use the default NAT as well, but the next thing which is called DHCP server, that is mandatory. So I want you to follow the DHCP. So what it does is, so whenever you join a particular machine, like client machine or any other server machine, okay, SQL or any other server machine, database machine, so this particular domain controller will act as a router, or you can say DNS server as well. Okay, if you want to. So what it does is it will assign the IP, and also whenever you try to browse something from the local computer, I mean to say the client machine, it will route from this particular domain controller. So this is what we are going to see in this particular video. So let's start with our installation. So you have to open your server manager on your freshly installed Active Directory domain services. Okay, so let me open my server manager. I have logged into my domain controller, as you can see, and this is my local machine behind. Okay, so currently I have only one machine, but as a part of SQL FCI, we'll be having other 3 machines as well. We'll see that in next series. Okay, I mean next upcoming videos. So let's start this first. And by the way, I forgot to tell you that I have not created article file for this. So you can, as I told, it is completely on you that whether you want to do it or not, or you can go with the same network as well. Okay, so you have to hit add roles and features. Okay, once you do that, hit next, then server. Yep, my server is correct. Hit next. Then here you have to select two things. The first thing which I would definitely recommend you, DHCP server. Okay, this is the first thing. And second, for our routing, as I told, you can select remote access. Okay, so I'm going to show you both how this works. Okay, but in your case, you can just go with DHCP server. This is for the best one if you want to assign IPs to your domain join machines. Okay, so hit next, hit next, hit next, next, and here as you can see we have 3 options. So you have to choose the RAS one, I mean to say the routing one, and it will automatically check that direct access and VPN as well. Okay, once this is done, hit next and proceed further with the installation. No need to select anything from this. Hit next and restart the destination server automatically if required. We'll hit S and install. Okay, so let's complete the installation, and I will show you the complete setup how this RAT and DHCP server works. Sorry, the NAT and the DHCP server. Meanwhile, I want to show you this NAT feature. Let me explain you a bit how this works. Okay, let me open my adapters here. If you see here on my screen, I have 2 different Ethernet adapters. So the one which is the Ethernet default one, it is coming from this particular VM, like the my actual internet. Okay, so, and this is assigned by my router which is at my home. Okay, and the second one is my KTT lab. So this is our internal network which is going to be part of my lab, I mean to say. So what I will do is whenever I create a new VM for our SQL failover cluster or a client machine, generally we will go with internal NAT. Okay, so the internal network adapter will be used and this will not be used. Now the main agenda here is when you want to route this particular public network or public IP to your internal network, it is not directly going to happen. Okay, once you configure here, so there is an additional step which we have to configure, and that is called NAT routing. We will see that in video. I'm just trying to explain you here how this was. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll configure a NAT so that our public internet or public NAT should communicate to this particular internet network. And whenever we generally assign client IPs from this domain controller, so what it does is it will reroute, okay, that particular internal network to the public so that we can access to the internet. Okay, so this is how it works. but it will always go with your domain controller. I mean to say the default router which we are going to configure now. Okay, so let's see that. I hope it is not complicated, so I'm just not going too technical in this. So you have to just understand that I'm trying to route internet from one network, I mean to one network adapter to other. Okay, so that we can have a seamless connectivity, internet connectivity throughout our domain lab. So our domain controller has restarted. Let's wait until the configuration has been done, and we'll come back again. Okay, as you can see, the installation has been completed. Let's close this, and if you open the server manager, on the top you can find here, okay, two options. So one is your NAT, which we install, which we want to do, which is RAS, and other one is DHCP. Let's configure the DHCP first. Just click on DHCP. Let me expand this window a bit so that this you can see everything clearly. Okay, so as you can see, so this is your DHCP post installation configuration. If you are not able to see this, you can directly search for DHCP here on your domain controller. Okay, DHCP, even that will take you there itself. Okay, so let's minimize this. Let's proceed with our configuration. Hit commit. Okay, once the authentication everything is done, this window will pop up. Let me expand this. Now I'll show you what configuration you have to do here. Okay, to make your DHCP server work. So this is our domain controller, which is DCKTT, and if you expand that, currently you can see that IPv4 and IPv6 both are down. Okay, because we have not configured it. So what we'll do is we'll just hit this, expand, and right click on this IPv4. Click on right click on that and click on new scope. Hit next. Give a name to your scope. So I will mention that KTT DSCP. Oh, sorry, KTTYT. You can name anything which you prefer. Okay, and I'll hit next once the given. So here you have to specify the start IP and end IP. So I'll just specify as per. So my domain controller and router IP is going to be same. Okay, I'm not going to make a difference. Like I'm not going to change anything. So my domain controller IP is 92.90.68.10.1, but here for the DSCP, I'm going to assign roles from 100. Okay, to 200. Okay, 192 168 10 dot, and here I'll specify 200. Okay, once this is done, leave it default and hit next. Now you if you want to reserve certain IPs, what it means is, like under this particular IPs, whatever you are specifying, if you want to reserve something which should not automatically get assigned, then you can exclude that. But in my case, as it is a lab, it is not required, so I can just hit next. Here you can leave it default. Okay, lease duration. So this is something to do whenever a DHCP assign a IP, how long does it take to reset that particular IP? So it is around 8 days. It is default. You can just leave it. It is not required. And you can see, yes, I want to configure the scope now. So I'll hit next. And here you have to specify the router IT. So a router IP, I mean to say. And as I told, my domain controller and router IP both are going to be same. Which is in our case DNS IP is also going to be same. I'm not going to change. I'll hit right, and this is my domain IP. Okay, 92.168.10.1, and I'll hit next. And once this is done, KTT lab and my domain router is available here, as you can see, and I will hit next. And Win server, it is not required. You can just leave it default. I want to activate the scope now. Yes, and hit next and finish. And as you can see, currently we got this particular IP scope here. Okay, let me refresh this. Once I hit refresh, or okay, there was some problem. Okay, so you have to go just right click on this DC, whatever you have, and all task, and you have to start it from here. If it is not started or restart, you can just give it a try. So as you can see, currently my scope is active, and IPv6 both are active here now, and my address pool or scope is configured now. So currently I don't have any machine which is joined to this particular network, so it is not, I'm not going to show you that how many clients the DHCP server has assigned IPs. Okay, so we'll talk about this later. Okay, we'll come back here. So this is how you have to configure DHCP. Okay, this is done. Now let's go back to our routing. So again, you have to click here. Okay, and open to get started with the wizard. Let's start this to configure our the NAT feature. So what you have to do, click here, or better thing, you can click on tools, and if you scroll down a bit, you will find remote access. Let me show you that. I mean to say routing and remote access. This is the one. So click on this. Okay, and minimize this. Let's minimize, and you can see currently our remote routing and remote status is here, and this is my domain controller. So what I will do is I'll right click and configure and enable routing, and I will hit next. So in our case, we are going to select NAT. So what it does is allow internet clients to internal clients to connect to the internet using one particular IP. Okay, I will hit next. Here you will see the all the network adapters. In my case, I have two, but it is not visible here due to some reason. Let me fix that, and then I'll continue from here. So I fixed the problem. Actually what happens is I just change the DNS, preferred DNS for my public Ethernet. So let's fix the, currently it is working now. Okay, so let's come back here, configure and enable routing, hit next, and as I told, we have to select the second one, and as you can see now I have both the adapters here. So you can see Ethernet default, which is my public IP, like public network, which is assigned or coming from my local machine. Okay, and this is my lab which I am going to use. So what it is saying is use this public interface to connect to the internet. So public interface is this, and I will hit next. Once this is done, I'll hit finish. Okay, so now this is how you have to configure routing and remote access on a domain controller. So this will route all your public internet or public traffic, I mean to say the internal traffic to public, like the communication will be there between both the networks. Okay, so this part is done. So this is how you have to configure DHCP and routing if you have multiple Ethernet, as I told. So probably I'm thinking that if you configure the DHCP, that's all you have to do. That will work perfectly fine. There is no problem at all. Okay, and as you can see, this part is done, internal and loop back, and here we have KTT lab dedicated. Everything is perfect and running. One more thing also you have to do is to make it publicly. So what you can do is, for best practice, you can open your domain controller network IP, and this is my internal one. So I'll just change the preferred DNS as well, which is in our case I will put Google's IP, which is 888. Okay, so this will also allow us to connect to the internet at a certain extent, because I have seen most of the time some of the websites will not be accessible, or also some of the network routing problems occurs. That is the reason. So you can put that. Okay, generally it is not required. So now we have configured that, and this is our first initial step, domain controller configuration, DHCP, everything is done. Now what we have to do is let's go back to our article and check what is our next step to do, and we'll proceed with that particular video. Okay, and if I scroll down, so as you can see our three steps are done. So in this third step, I've configured domain controller and DHCP and routing as well, which is not required. I have showed you. Now what we have to do is we have to create three virtual machines. As you know that we are going to create a SQL failover cluster. So I'll be using three machines. I have showed you that. So if you see in our above image, as you can see, this is our first machine, second machine, and third machine. So whenever there is a problem or something happened to this machine, it will switch back here, or there is some problem here, it will switch back here. That's how it is going to work. Okay, so that's how we need three machines now. So we'll create three machines in our next video, and we'll join that particular machine to our domain controller, and we'll check the connectivity, IP and DHCP is working or not, internet is working or not. Then we'll proceed with the NIC and NAT switch across SQL VMs. Not mandatory if you are lab. So it's like creating a new adapter for your just for your SQL failover cluster, which is not required, but we'll see how can we do that. I hope you got the idea. You can check our article. I'll put that link as well, as I told earlier. Please feel free to comment down if you have any suggestions, or you are stuck somewhere and you want to know something. Okay, I hope you like this video. We'll see you in next upcoming videos in our SQL failover cluster series.